So is there something that you learned, or you went out of your comfort zone and you saw that you could do it, and now you do it and you never thought you would be able to a year
Uh,
ago?
yeah, it is the video stuff. And also, so I think I was having to do video things for work, which I'd never had to do
Mm-hmm.
before. I mean, I created that as a, so we need to do this. So I'll do, this is what we'll do. Yeah, and then did the launch for the artists in residence. And I actually had it, and Yarra Valley's Writers Festival, they did an interview. We did an interview and a launch for the isolation portraits, which is
Mm-hmm.
photos of people up in the upper Yarra Valley that I took at their homes during isolation. Yeah, all those things were super, super challenging for me. And just seeing myself on the screens, like lots of people, but yeah, it's not something
Mm-hmm.
I ever wanted to ever want to do. So yeah, there was sort of 3 or 4 events that were live and online. And look, I got some negative feedback as well, which was pretty hard.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so it did make me evaluate what that was like, and
Mm-hmm.
I think also that but anyway, that's just what my thoughts are. Sorry. So and then I did a Yarra Valley open studio that
Mm-hmm.
went virtual, and so there was an actual live event for that. Open studios was never going to really work for me because I don't have a studio as such. I have an
Mm-hmm.
office with it. It's my life. My studio's out there, so it was cool I'd never been able to be part of that before, and so for that, my friend Ian Bickerstaff also made a movie for me. Oh, and actually, the other thing that I learned was through that open studio, Yava, which is Yarra Valley Arts, which I became a member of in lockdown as well. They got funding to learn for us to learn how to do digital storytelling. So how to make um, videos, but with your smartphone. So it's
Mm-hmm.
super accessible and easy. You don't have to go and buy a whole lot of gear. And so I think my video skills went from like 5% to about, I don't know, increased just dramatically, like just basic things that I had never learned before. So that is helpful in how to actually hold your iPhone if
Mm-hmm.
you're going to take a video, like how to do that. It's just, and it's so silly too, because a lot of it is just the skills you have with a camera, but I've never really applied them to the phone, which I don't know why, but not lots of people don't. So part of that course was to
Mm-hmm.
actually video yourself, some with 3 questions about your art. I can't remember exactly what they were, but writing the questions and answering them to yourself, and then videoing myself was
Mm-hmm.
really challenging.
Yeah.
But it was good learning. And then Ian sort of talked to me about it. He goes, oh well, he's making movies, so he made the movie for me in the end, which was really good in lots of ways because it happened. But I just had to so him interviewing me and videoing me, I had to just try to step outside myself
Mm-hmm.
and go with that. But there was there was a lot of crying, and
Oh my, seriously. Oh, wow.
seriously,
Okay.
well, it was also to do with the fact that I was talking about why, uh, what inspired me to get involved. Yeah, where
Okay.
my interest in photography came from, and I talked about my nana, and I literally pulled the photos out to use the photos in the video. And the first time I look at her, I'd looked at all her photos that were all together since she died in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Just before that event, that International Women's Day event
Okay.
that you were at, so that was all emotional. Yeah, and then looking at the video and having to just try to just be okay with it is quite challenging. So that was played at the virtual open
Mm-hmm.
studio. So I felt like even just having like a little movie made about yourself
Mm-hmm.
is pretty amazing. And when you can't quite imagine what it's going to look like, and then you see the finished piece, and I'm just really happy that exists. Like it was, yeah, it's so yeah, the learning in how to put yourself there and be okay about being there, and then that going out in the world as well really changed. It does change, like it changed me as a person. And then now we're doing the project for International Women's Day, and this is the 10th year. Last couple of years I've run events, and this year I knew from most of last year that I wasn't going to run an event for the 10th year because of COVID, and it just felt too risky, and just not just too much pressure, financial pressure, and just sort of, whether it was going to actually happen or not was too difficult for me to contemplate doing. So we Ian and I making movies about some of the women in the who've been involved in the project over the last 10 years, and a lot of those women in music. And so in those, I'm now, well, the last one we've done, I'm actually in there being interviewed, or interviewing the other person, which again is challenging. Really challenging. But yeah, I think they, public speaking is probably it is one of my greatest fears in life, and always has been. And I know this is a different kind of public speaking, but I think hopefully these are helping me get better at that. Yeah, just being comfortable to talk and have that go out into the world is I guess is quite empowering, and it's good for you. Good for you, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But is this, and I thought it was a very original idea of what you did. That you took the photos online, and then you asked, the artists to kind of put their own spin on it, or like put their own touch and do whatever they wanted to do with it. And I think it's amazing. And I didn't see them all, but in general, it kind of, their whole personality comes through as well. And I think that's the interesting part. But I wanted to ask you about something else. It's unusual for a photographer to give so much freedom to the audience, and like most of people are very possessive of their work. So wasn't there a bit where you were like, what if I'm not gonna like what they did?
Yeah, it's just a leap of faith. That's all it is, and and it's really good to give that control away, I think. And that project really taught me that. I don't think I've ever, no, maybe I do, like in working in community arts sort of settings. You just have to get used to the fact that you can't control the outcome, and that giving that trust over as well, I think that's a really beautiful thing. And it's, to tell someone, we're going to make this, but then I'm literally going to give that to you to do whatever you want with, and that made me so lucky. Like every time I got one back, and that I got to experience opening that and seeing what that looked like for the first time, how lucky. It just, and I never imagined all the things that people would do. Like just blew my mind. It just, So you're right. I think maybe that's an unusual thing. I don't know, but it is sort of true. And like, I don't know that it's true collaboration either. Like it's probably a different spin on collaboration, maybe because we collaborated initially to make that photograph. That's collaboration. But then handing it over, that we're not really collaborating then, because that person's going to take that. I mean, maybe that is collaboration. I don't know. But we're not having any dialogue about that. We're not having any twos and fros or feedback. It's like literally you come back to me with a finished, what you think is what you want to be your finished. And I don't think there was anyone who, there was no discussion of any, like no, there was nothing that came back and then we had further discussion and it changed. Like that was the end result. I think it's a really good thing it's good for your ego as well to just
It is.
hand it over. But I feel like I have, that deepened a lot of relationships with people that that I had relationship with before, whether it's, some of those people are my friends and some are people who I, respect or photograph, but some I've never had a conversation with before necessarily. Yeah, but that can take you to a place that you wouldn't have gone to otherwise, I think.
Yeah.
Mm.
And speaking of that as well, what was the key to you choosing those particular people? So of course, some of them are your friends, and I noticed, for
Yeah,
example, there's Jessie Lee in there, and I think you guys kind of know each other very well, and she frequently,
yeah,
as far as I noticed, she's a frequent kind of subject
yeah.
in your photos. But how did you choose the others? Like, was there a key, or was it completely, I don't know, coincidence, or you heard from someone that it might be interesting, or you did some research?
I think they all I just chose them. Like I just wanted to do it with them, and so they're all people I either respect or um really like, or love what they do. And I also wanted them to be all sorts of people, I guess. So from all my different worlds, and not, and some point now I go, because I feel like that project hasn't really landed. Like, I think it is such a beautiful project. It's
Mhm.
actually so about so many different people. It's not really about me. Um, so I would have thought it would have landed better. I would have thought it would have got some more um media. Now I kind of go, maybe if I had just done women, like people in music or women in music or
Mhm.
queer for people, or that might have been an easier story, I don't know. But I wanted it to be everyone, like if from any part of my world, and and some of those some people, it was really challenging for, and I know that they wouldn't have done it unless I asked them to do it.
Mhm.
And and yeah, that's a pretty cool thing too, when people push themselves and go out of their comfort zone to do something, and for me to be able to provide a space where it's comfortable for them to, or they feel that's a safe space, and they,
Yeah.
there's a huge amount of trust in me, they're giving me as well, like, because they're going to give their work back to me to put in a publication and go out into the
Mm.
world. Yeah, so there's all sorts of people in the project, and yeah, for me it was just that they needed to be an artist, but in the end, I've kind of feel that everyone is an artist in we just don't all know it, or we
Mm.
don't all think of ourselves like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, and some people I've been, I'm friends with them, been documenting or creatively working with them for a long time, like Jessie Lee, but people like Dandrogyny and
Mm.
Daddy Dog. There's a lot of people. I'm not gonna, yeah, a lot. Yeah.
Was it always going to be so many, or did the project start small and then it grew?
In my mind, in my mind, I had 50, but that was such a stupid amount, like
Yeah.
really. And then I don't know why, because it just seemed like a nice round number. Yeah, and in the end, it was just a bit over that. I think I think um, it was a crazy amount of people. Like that was I think I shot most of those within 3 weeks. So
Wow.
that was, but it gave me, it gave me a schedule to work to. I was pretty tired by the end. I was quite exhausted by the end of it. Yeah, but it gave me we're in lockdown for months, so that whole period, within a 5K, couldn't go anywhere outside 5Ks. There's nowhere to go.
Mm.
There's nothing. So it gave me today I'm doing this interview. I'm doing all these shoots these times through the day, and edit, and it got me into a good process of like do the shoot, edit, send them off, done. Like that was quite good. Yeah,
Some
yeah,
kind of routine, yeah, I can imagine. So there is
yeah,
a reason to do stuff, and yeah, I can understand, and
yeah.
totally.